one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
Yo vine a este país para progresar y tener un mejor futuro con mi familia en Oaxaca. Pues yo vengo aquí en este lugar, aquí donde la gente busca trabajo a diario, y es un lugar pues donde vienen los americanos a buscar gente, y donde nosotros pues nos vamos con ellos a trabajar en lo que sea, y nos pagan pues un salario de $8 o $9 o $10, dependiendo del trabajo. Si es un trabajo mejor, pues un poquito más mejor. Nosotros nos poníamos de aquel lado de frente del CDN, aquí donde está la llantera, hace como aproximadamente unos 5 años. Y luego enseguida pues nos corrieron de allá, de los negocios, porque pues, no querían que uno estropeara los negocios. Ya nos movieron para acá y llegaba la policía, nos corría, pero enseguida pues ya nos volvimos a poner otra vez. Pero ya actualmente hasta ahorita ya no nos han dicho nada, pero aún siguen todavía molestándonos a la gente que buscamos trabajo, porque pues, nos quieren correr.
Right after the war was, before my time, there was rationing. That went on for about 10 years or so, I think. And but then England sort of started to recover a little bit, and it was very, very hard over there economically, for one thing. I was very unhappy there. I really felt I wanted to experience other countries, and I did quite a lot of traveling, but as far as actually moving somewhere, it wasn't until I got to the US that I decided, hey, this is really a place that I'd like to live.
My name is Hal David Mendenhall. My father was born in Illinois, and then he moved to Texas, and then he moved to San Francisco, and then to Marin County. And in high school he met my mom, who was from Marin County her whole life. My dad got married at 21, and He had just graduated from College of Marin with an AA degree. He went to work for a contractor in Sausalito as an electrician and worked many years for the contractor. It was a little unusual because he worked for the only black contractor that was in Sausalito. We didn't have a lot of money, but we were middle class. I had two brothers, and he bought his first house in Tamalpais Valley for only $10,000. You know, I only had to put $1,000 down. That was the good old days. And then he built his second house. Oh, I would say 1952. He probably bought his first house. He built the second house on a piece of property right adjacent, and we thought that was a really nice house. We lived there. It was up on a hill. We would ride our bicycles down the hill. We would always walk to school. We didn't think it was very far, even though it was down a hill. It was pretty close. Never had to take the bus or anything. When I was 6, we moved to the town of Sonoma, and he built another house there in Sonoma. I think my dad got ahead because he worked really hard. Not only did he work as an electrician and made pretty good money, but he built several houses, including the house he eventually retired in, up in Northern California. I kind of followed in his footsteps a little bit after I grew up and went to college for a couple of years in LA. I didn't like LA too much, so I came back to Northern California, got married, and bought my first house, which was a duplex, and it was only $30,000. It's a pretty good deal then. And it was on a big piece of land, and I subdivided the land, and I built my second house, and it was a really nice house. I loved that house. And my first two children grew up in that house. And they walked to school down the hill, just as I had done. I think things are a little different today. Like, my youngest son got offered a credit card when he was first turned 18. The bank offers him a credit card, but nobody tells them to be careful about how they spend the money. And so, you know, you charge everything up to the limit. The only time I ever used a credit card when I was young was for the most important necessity, like a bed. He would use it for whatever he could buy. If he didn't have money for gas, he would use a credit card. And then it became very difficult for him to pay it. I was lucky because it took a long time for me to gain credit.
I'm a believer, shall I say, a disbeliever in credit. I don't believe in buying things that I can't afford. And I think, you know, the United States has spent beyond itself, and the inevitable consequences have come about, and that's definitely the economic reason, and there's lots of other things that go with it, but definitely it's living beyond its means. I mean that's a big factor. Yeah.
Everything was cheaper back then. When I was young and living in LA and first got married, I used to be able to go to the supermarket and for $15 could buy all the groceries for a week. Of course, that usually meant like 3 boxes of macaroni and cheese, but still it was so cheap. Gasoline, 65 cents a gallon. Everything was so much cheaper and so much easier to buy. I think the first car I bought was only $200. It was a used old car, but still I sold it for $200 after I had it for 4 years. So things were not going up in price very fast. That includes housing and food and gas. In the last few years, things have gone up so fast. I remember in the 70s having to wait for an odd or even day, depending on your license plate, to have to get in line to get gas. They had gas shortages, and that's when the gas started to go up in price because, it's supply and demand. Even though most of the people thought that the shortage was contrived, it was coming to the end of the Vietnam War, and the Vietnam War was, I think, when a lot of people came home from that war, there was a lot of unemployment. I was going to college to try and be an engineer, and engineers were graduating all over the place, and instead of getting a job with Boeing in Seattle, they were pumping gas. Back in the days when they used to have gas attendants. And it was very sad. So I never knew what I was going to do. I thought for a while maybe I would go to Alaska and work on the Alaskan oil pipeline. So I went to a community college and learned how to do welding, but ended up not doing that. I ended up following my father into being an electrician, and I'm very glad I did that because that was a very good trade. But I was a blue-collar worker, and once you have a good trade like that, I think a lot of people go to college for years and years and never make as much money as a person in the trades.
Gracias por estar con nosotros. Ya regresamos.
Bienvenidos a Los Pinchos. Venga y disfrute en un ambiente alegre con su familia. Ordene nuestro especial bandeja paisa. Tenemos nuestras deliciosas empanadas, postres y demás antojitos. Bienvenidos a Los Pinchos.
Entre tú y yo.
The United States of America is just the most wonderful country in the world. It gives everybody opportunities, not just me because I was raised in a middle-class environment and had a good chance at opportunity. But eventually, after I became an electrician, I became an electrical contractor. And some of the best workers that I had working for me were immigrants, either from Ireland or from Guatemala. I had one young kid from Guatemala. He came and he worked for me, and he would dig the ditches for me, and then he learned how to put the pipes in the ditch. And finally I told him, I said, you're here legally. There's no reason you can't learn better English so we can communicate better and I can explain to you what I need done, or get a driver's license. You can do that too. If you want, I'll go out with you, teach you how to drive. And there's English classes right in San Rafael where I was. There were good English classes, and he took English class and he got a driver's license, and I gave him a big raise, and he did great. He went on to work for other people and make lots of money and buy a house. And he was from Guatemala. His wife worked at a Wendy's. He making minimum wage. So I think it's possible for anybody, no matter where they come from, that they can really be successful in the United States.
Well, my advice to the new generation would be to work hard, have faith, stay out of trouble, stay out of debt, and have a happy life. And enjoy this wonderful country.
I think the best thing that immigrants can do in this country, even though California is becoming more bilingual, I think it's still important to learn English, because most of the best employers speak English. They don't always speak Spanish or other languages. It's very difficult in California, because I know in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles School District, they have to speak 83 different languages. There are so many different immigrants. It's very difficult for those immigrants to get ahead, and they like to stick to their own communities, which is okay, but it's very important to try and learn English. You'll get so much further ahead if you can learn English. I think it's important that they try and help their parents to learn English too, because then their parents can get further ahead as well. Don't think that it is important in this country to join a gang. Gangs are the worst thing. And there's so many countries that have a gang mentality, and then they come to this country and they think that the thing to do is join a gang because it will protect them. The best thing you can do for yourself is to get an education, at least through high school. Don't drop out of high school. Get the education through high school, and there's so much you can do out there to get a good job, even with just a high school education. I never graduated college. I had a couple of years of college, but the job, like being an electrician, only required a high school education. And the truth is, it took me a long time to get into the electrical union, because at the time they had affirmative action, and the people who were getting in were African Americans, Hispanics, women. I couldn't get a job because I was white, because I was born here, because I had good grades. It was reverse discrimination for a long, long time. And it's still that way a little bit, but now you can't say that you don't have as equal opportunity as somebody like me. The opportunities are great out there, and maybe you're not college material, but there are good jobs without going to college. But the more education you have, the better it is. Even the 2 years of college I had, I thought were really good, and they helped me a lot in this life.
Radio Bendición es la Radio Bendición. No hay otra. Nosotros no cambiamos la palabra de Dios, sino que la palabra de Dios nos cambia a nosotros.
Tu palabra es lámpara a mis pies.
Estás escuchando Radio Bendición, con una señal que bendice.
Tu palabra es lámpara.
La Radio Bendición es mi radio.
familia tengo yo sin el amor de nuestro Dios? Una familia que Él salvó, de la que espera una eterna decisión. Cada mañana ruego a Dios que se arrepientan de corazón, para que al fin puedan sentir que hay un Dios que los amó. Qué lindo fuera estar con ellos cuando Jesús venga por mí. Cuando me encuentre allá en el cielo, volver a verlos junto a mí. Qué lindo fuera si buscaran la luz del rostro de Jesús, si en sus vidas Él reinara, si ellos creyeran como yo. Cada mañana ruego a Dios que se arrepientan de corazón. Es mi familia que Él salvó, de la que espera una eterna decisión. Qué lindo fuera estar con ellos cuando Jesús venga por mí. Cuando me encuentre allá en el cielo, volver a verlos junto a mí. Qué lindo fuera si buscaran la luz del rostro de Jesús, si en sus vidas Él reinara, si ellos creyeran en Jesús.
Todo comenzó con Jesús y con una guitarra.
Porque tanto amó Dios al mundo, que ha dado a su único Hijo. Que fuera a estar con ellos cuando Jesús venga por mí. Cuando me encuentre allá en el cielo, volver a verlos junto a mí. From this so happy, 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 say I'm very happy, so happy, singing happy once again.
Earth Friend.
Uno, pues cuando yo pasé encontré muchos esqueletos tirados en el camino. Pasé por ahí por lugar de parte de Chihuahua, parte que se llama Palomas, puro desierto. Pues se encuentra uno muchas cosas en el camino. Muchos nos asaltan, muchas personas pues las violan a las muchachas, a las mujeres. Es difícil y uno no quiere eso volver a pasar otra vez, y por eso quiere uno papeles que nos dé el gobierno o un permiso de trabajo y así poder viajar a los países de donde uno es.